All right, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is Bojan Petreski. Today is April 19th, 2023. It is the monthly trading and review session with me. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Let me just adjust this a little bit so it zooms in a little bit on me. There we go. Um, Today is Wednesday, April 19th, 2023. We'll be doing a trading and review session for today. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day, and I'm just gonna do a test here. The Speak Up chat key is right there for your use, so you can join on the Speak Up app, iOS or Android, or you could do what I do, which is the um, web version of it, which is web.speakup.info. Um, that you can get into it there. Let's see here. I'm just gonna find. I'll give everybody a few seconds for the to get, give them some time to settle in while I post this, update this link here. This will be that. Hope everybody's having a good week so far, or a good month so far. I know it's been a little bit, it's becoming common to say it's been a little bit crazy lately, just because of the craziness of the world that we live in. Um, but it has been a little crazy lately. So hope everybody's doing well, and we'll be getting started with our session for today. So before we continue, as you see down there on the bottom part of the screen, the ticker, if you want to avoid trading the wrong futures contracts, check out the future contract specs, open interest and volume on bar chart. That's what I typically use whenever, Morning Joe, saw you there on Speak Up, thanks. Um, that's what I use whenever it's actually one of my bookmarks that I have when I open up my morning tabs. I always have a bar chart open. It's also a pretty good website to just kind of see what's going on with certain news. Just because when you pull up the bar chart futures website, and which I'm like, I'm showing it, except I'm showing it on the wrong screen. This is what it would look like. I have this bookmark, which is futures most active. So that way I know where the volume is. As you see, the 10-year, 5-year, 2-year notes are leading right now. Once the market's open, they tend to flip. Um, but bottom line, though, this is a really good website to have and to just have bookmarks so you know you're on the right contract. Because sometimes what will happen, and this does happen often, certain platforms will actually switch you already. They'll switch the contract on you even though the volume is still in the preceding month. NinjaTrader doesn't do that like that. You just trade the contract that you have. But bottom line, this is just for your information that this is what the rest of us use. And of course, without much more that needs to be said, this is a video for clip. This video is for educational and instructional purposes only. Trading does involve risk, and if you're not willing to risk anything, then by all means, I would say I would recommend, and you still want to. Evening, Jeff. All right, awesome. So I guess we got folks from all around the globe. Love it, guys. Um, the usual format of this session is where we also look at some of the previous trades we've taken, talk about them. If there's any questions about them, go over them. And then once we kind of exhaust that, we have to essentially, not have to, but then we switch to trying to get some trades on that we could put on for today. Um, if anybody has any trades that they've taken that they want us to look at and analyze, I'd be more than willing to do that as well. The format of the session is where we prioritize questions that you may have, because obviously, and especially for those of you that are joining live, you have kind of the front row seat on driving the session. I'm just kind of the guy that kind of tells you, hey, that's a red light, that's a green light. All right. I'm the co-pilot slash co-driver. / annoying passenger who just sips his coffee every once in a while. All right, so let me pull up my handy dandy screenshots. We did have quite a few trades that we took last time. From what I'm seeing here, we had a couple of setups, couple of exits. There was So let's go ahead and start with the first one, which is the first one that we had was this here. It was a 15-minute setup on the NASDAQ. We were looking to buy. Why were we looking to buy? Because the stars aligned. So I'm just kidding. We had a confirmed climb it up. We had a moving average on this 15-minute time frame that was within a UFO right here. And ultimately, it was early on in the climate. The UFO was overlapping with the moving average. We got into it. Now, for those of you that are veterans, this sounded like rinse and repeat. For those of you that may be joining me here for the first time, you're probably scratching your heads and thinking, what? And we'll go over this especially when we're setting up trades. We just want to kind of, take a look at, see what happened. This is the entry. We set up the entry. This was, I believe, right after the open or right at the open. I think it was, it was actually 2 minutes after the open. That's how you know that, because the time remaining here on this 15-minute time frame, and obviously the bottom of the hour being the opening. So we got into it about 2.5 minutes, actually 1.5 minute into the open. So really, really volatile times, right? The trade already ended up hitting, right? So our setup was there, our entry was hit. We adjusted our stop, our sell limits, and everything. This trade ended up being closed, as you see right here. It was actually in profit for a little bit, and then we had to wait for this third candle. And of course, the third candle is the one that drove it there. So we ended up closing this for a loss. It wasn't a full stop, but it was still a loss nonetheless. And then we had another setup, another entry, same thing on the NASDAQ. Into it still, third climate up confirmed. We were looking to get it. We did have a brand new UFO form right here on this bounce. We got into it, I think, or did we not on this one? Yes, so this one we did get into it. Ended up being a profitable trade. Did end up closing some of it. I think on this pullback is where it closed. I usually have a screenshot of it, which is why it's so much easier just to do video recordings of what you've done. Just 10 times easier than screenshots. But ultimately, we did end up triggering this trade, and the trade ended up working out. And then we had another setup on the NASDAQ, right? We had 3 there. A very similar location of where we were after we exited. It still made sense to take it, so we did set it up. This one did end up setting up. Was a little bit profitable, but I'm pretty sure this one stopped out. Yes, this one did stop out. It was one candle into it. Second one was already there, and it already plummeted through. And I believe after this point, the climate did change to a down climate. Well, I'm not sure, that must be a mistake, but we did have another setup on NQ4. I don't know if we ever. Oh, yes, this is the one that was explaining that at the end of the session. Not sure if folks looked it or not. I think this one did end up triggering and going to T1 and then closing on a trail stop, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't have the screenshot, which is why having screenshots works great. So as you saw in the last time that we were here, we did have quite a few trades that ended up triggering in our session, which is, bottom line, when you're day trading, you're bound to have more opportunities present themselves in front of you. And it's just a matter of taking them with a cool head. Because if you know that what you have in front of you, what you're trading with, the software, the system, the products that you're using, let me just take this off here so it doesn't distract us. is working for you, you've backtested the data and everything's working good, then you just rinse and repeat, right? Bottom line is though, you have to rinse and repeat the same way you backtest it. So you can't get, feelings or distractions get in the way, because if you backtested that between, let's say 8 a.m. Eastern and 11 a.m. Eastern, you're going to be 100% focused in front of the screen for those 3 hours, and you will take every trade that presents itself in that time span, then that's what you do. Because think of it this way. Let's say you had two, winning trades in a row, right? And you're feeling good about the day. You're like, you know what? I'm going to cut early. I just made, $1,000 in half an hour. Okay. That may be little for some. That may be a lot for some, right? You're thinking, you know what? I'm okay. I'm done. What if the next two trades that presented themselves that would have been captured in your backtesting data set were actually the trades that made the month, right? Those trades that you didn't take that could have made the month are now skewing your data. Vice versa, right? If those next two trades lost all the money you made, you're thinking to yourself, what the hell did I do? I made my 1,000 and then all of a sudden now I'm back to zero. I made nothing. Well, guess what? Your backtesting captured that. Your backtesting accounted for that. So that's okay. You should not be beating yourself up over it. I hope that makes sense to you guys. For those of you that are veterans, this is probably just, singing the same old tunes over and over again. But this is something that I feel like gets missed a lot, because and then people try to change their systems instead of going back to double checking if what they backtested is exactly what they're doing, right? Because if you backtested information that, let's say, instead of only those 3 hours that you're saying you're going to be in front of a computer, you backtested the whole day. Well, you better account that you're going to be looking at the screen the whole day, right? Because otherwise, what was the point of all that backtesting? It's not something that you want to be doing. All right, I'm just going to flash this real quick for those of you that joined late. This is the Trading in Review Speak Up. This is the live chat room. You're more than welcome to leave it blank if you don't want to share your name. It's encouraged that you do, just so I can figure out who's talking and what they're saying. Bottom line, though, it is a matter of just, working as a community to try to get something out of this. I mean, it's fine and dandy looking at pretty little shapes and candles going up and down. But I would say it's much better time spent if you're also trying to make a few bucks out of it. All right. All right. So, um, Nasdaq's unconfirmed. This is something that we're going to go about this. So we're going to focus right here on this bottom left-hand side chart here. Um, we need something to tell us if it's time to trade or not. That's something that we use is the bottom left-hand corner of the screen here, which is the chart, the auto climate chart, right? You see it right here, it says auto climate. And the reason why I call it the auto climate chart is because this is the 15-minute common time frame chart. And why is it common? Because it's commonly used, right? The 2-minute, the 610 tick chart, the 987 volume, these are not as common, right? I would say they're fairly uncommon, these three. Let's call them, right? These are uncommon. These charts are the ones that give us the entry points. And these two common and uncommon charts get tied into by an indicator that's also common from the 9 EMA, which, if you see it right here, is this golden line right there, right? See that? That indicator ties the uncommon time frame with the common time frame. All right. I got you. No worries, Joe. It's all good. So what we have in front of us here is two, let's call them separate worlds, right? We have the common world, which is what everybody else around the world would see, a 15-minute time frame. Nothing unusual about it. A 9 EMA, very, very usual, right? Nothing to do. Nothing unusual about a 15-minute time frame with a 9 EMA, quite literally. The rest of what we see here, these three charts, along with the indicators we have on them, that's very uncommon. That's something that I would say, people limited to using our software, both retail and enterprise users that are using our patented and proprietary technology here. See this stuff, right? There may be some commonality between some of these zones based on the calculations, but I can almost with a certain degree guarantee that it's not going to match up exactly to what we have. So how do we trade that, right? Well, the first thing we ask is, should we be trading, yes or no? The question sometimes gets missed. It doesn't get asked. And right now, we answer that question with this. Is the climate confirmed or unconfirmed? And right here in this exact scenario, the climate is unconfirmed, therefore we skip. That's it. We're done analyzing the market. Right? Well, good thing we have an update in about 4 minutes. All right, so in about 4 minutes, this climate will update itself. Given what it's doing, I don't foresee it updating to anything interesting. Let's just put it that way. And this is not me saying that I have a crystal ball. This is me saying, given what the market price is doing right now and where it's at, this might not confirm itself as an up climate. So just kind of giving you a little bit of information there. Let's go ahead and switch to the ES. Wait for it to all load. And of course, surprise, surprise, not a whole lot of difference, right? It is also unconfirmed climate. We will get a confirmation in about 3 minutes, right? Unconfirmed climate. It is looking a little bit stronger. This is looking very bullish, let's call it. Mainly because it's looking like it touched and went below the 9 EMA, but did not, as a matter of fact. Closed, is not trading below it, and it looks like it will not close below it as well. That being said, right, in 3 minutes we have the market open, so things are going to get quite feisty in a few minutes. If this market closes where it's at right now, it's only 2.5 points away from the moving average. There is a possibility that this 4156 area will actually work right here. Okay, I'm just gonna put an order in from here. There's a good chance that this might work, and that's why I'm gonna put that there. We only have 2 minutes left until this is, let's call it quantifiable. I'm gonna keep my trigger here. I'm gonna keep my finger on the cancel, because why am I keeping the finger on the cancel? Well, because the climate is not confirmed. All right, we need a confirmed climate to go in a trade. I'm anticipating that this will work, but it might not, right? Right now, in about a minute and a half, we'll have the confirmation of the climate, at which point we'll be able to execute the trade if it works for us. As we see right now, it's just one tick above the UFO right there. UFO starts at 41.56, moving average at 41.56.36, but which, if you round it up, is 2 ticks. So if you round it down, it's 1 tick. But we'll see what happens in about a minute. In the meantime, I just want to see if crude oil is by any chance giving us anything different, just to see what's going on with it, just because right now we're just cycling through things to see if there's anything for us anywhere else. Right. A little strange. Um, I guess we'll go back to ES. Not sure why crude oil was not wanting to load. All right, we have a few seconds rather, until the market open, and to see if this will be a confirmed climate. If it is not, it's okay. If it is though, finger at the ready, right? 41.56. Now, as expected, it is not confirmed. We are seeing an upward movement, so we could get an intra-candle confirmation. But as of right now, I don't see it confirming. It may change, as I said. It definitely may change. Um, Now, if it does, do we have a UFO that we can use given the movement? We do not. All right. Oh, wow. The NASDAQ actually confirmed to the downside. That's interesting. This may reconfirm itself to as an unconfirmed, rather. And this may switch itself to an unconfirmed if the market keeps moving the way it is. But as of right now, climate is saying movement to the downside. Give me 1 second. Up here. Oh, look at that. That's the power of the climate. Unfortunately, we don't have a UFO here in this area, but we may receive one. And if we do, we will be selling at market, which will give us a confirmation to go in. Okay, we have a UFO here, but it is not quite where it's not quite where oh, wait a minute now. You almost made a mistake there. Okay. And the reason why we have to switch this is because the amount of movement that the NQ gets on these volume and share bars is different from the amount that we get from just like that. There we go. Because the amount of ticks and the amount of volume bars that NQ moves versus the ES is different. That is why we have different quantities of ticks and quantities of volume on each of these charts. Before I was on the ES right here, right? So that's the 1597 tick, but the correct one to use is the 610 for the NASDAQ. All right, so that's moving along to the upside, it looks like. Let's maybe take a look at the Dow, see if the Dow is giving us something. We have a confirmation, we have moving averages inside of UFOs. It looks like 34,027 might be where it is, but if this keeps falling, it might not be in here. This is technically a takeable trade. So let's go ahead and take this at market. And I'm going to move this like this. I'm just going to take a quick screenshot so I know what I was doing here. And just save that like that. I definitely want to make my adjustments here. This should be at 34,020. And we're out. All right, let's save that to. Would not be opposed to taking this again. Obviously, that was just a push down. As you see, it's looking like it wants to move back up. Right at about the moving average right there. 34,020 is the moving average. Our stop was at 34,020. Let's see if by any chance we can get another entry on this one. We're just waiting for a UFO here. To take this again at market is fine, just because of how it's moving. Looking like we're retesting a little bit lower. So as long as we still have a confirmed climate, though, we're okay. Um, and as long as we still have an up climate, right? That's the main thing. Okay, red UFOs are popping up. So we're trading well below the moving average there. I want to see if the NQ switched gears. And I think I made a mistake there. Whoa, NQ did not switch gears at all. Look at that. Oh my God. So the NQ is just jamming on up while I think I did make a mistake on that one. I pulled the trigger. Yeah, look at that. I traded the YM on the NQ tickers. See, this is why you don't rush things sometimes, and mistakes do happen. So it's, again, we're human, and this is what happens. You get a little overly excited, and then boom, it happens. Um, Nasdaq is just blasting on up. The Dow was pulling down, and that's what that should look like. Unconfirmed climate now on the Dow. Boy, looking at the ES, a mixed picture compared to the Dow and the Nasdaq, right? So which one leads which one now? um, you know, this is what we're at. We're still unconfirmed, so still nothing to do at either one of these. Let's see if crude will want to load. I don't understand why it wouldn't. It's a little strange, but as you see, we're getting a blank chart. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. What's crude trading on right now? Should be the April, but let me double check. This is why we check the bar chart, just to make sure. NQ did not hit the sell, no. NQ was reconfirmed upward movement, and it just kind of rocketed on up. Let's see here, futures, we have energies, and crude is on the June. Oh my God. You can kind of tell I haven't traded crude in a bit, right? But why is June not even on here? That's interesting. Let's see if I can get this to load properly. That is a little bizarre. Oh my god, that's unconfirmed too. Yeah, I need to get my window back up here so that I can kind of compare and take a look at. So not a whole bunch going on here today. You know, sometimes we get so much we can't keep up, and sometimes we don't get any, and we get to talk a lot. Right? If anybody has anything that they want to bring up, you know, feel free. And as of right now, though, not a whole bunch happening. The yes, still unconfirmed, and Nasdaq was the only one that was kind of moving very strong and surprisingly still unconfirmed too. Right, which is the funny thing about the Nasdaq is it confirmed itself as a down climate. It started pushing lower and then it just rocketed up. So I wonder if that was like some news driven stuff or what it might have been. But yeah, we had a fairly strong move up. Um, okay, got it. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Yeah. So we have an update in about 3 minutes to this one. Um, how's the Dow doing? Yep, it is unconfirmed now, so nothing to do there as well. And the ES is probably not a whole lot changed. Yep, still staying above the moving average. Touched. I mean, you can look at this right here. It touched that 15-minute UFO. It went fairly deep and has pulled back from it since. All right, the time frame from the Nasdaq. When you say the time frame, I mean I assume you mean like which time frames we're looking at. We're looking at the 15-minute time frame for the confirmation of the climate. You can certainly also look at the 60-minute as well. It's just that the 60-minute that we do have to connect with different time frames above here. So that's a little bit more advanced as far as for these sessions. We're typically just using the 15-minute because we're looking for some of these intraday trades that are either going to occur during our session or, you know, typically speaking, they'll also close within the session or they'll be running um, with the remainder of the last contract, the trail contract, after the session ends. But will most likely be closed before the end of the trading day. All right, so what I'm kind of hoping that happens here is the following. I am hoping that the NASDAQ kind of stays in this kind of upward momentum movement, and then we can execute on a trade on this right here on 13,091.25. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for the next minute and a half. Uh, is that that's where our buy will be, which if you look at it on this one here, which should have popped up, but it didn't. Um, oh, there, that's what it is. Okay, and we'll do that hidden. That's going to be within this UFO here. Now, the trick here, or rather the unfortunate, but maybe fortunate thing about this here is that our stop is going to have to be below this UFO here. So our stop's going to have to go all the way down to 69.75. That is a large stop by any means. Not something that bodes well for our trade, in the sense of that means our T1 is also going to be the equal distance above. So if we just do the math real quick, it is 13,091.25 minus 13,069.75. So we're looking at 21 and a half points on the NASDAQ for a stop, which means, right, so the stop is definitely going to be there, which means our profit target is going to be 13,091.25, 13,112.75, which is the good news about it is it's right before this red UFO. So right around here is where our T1 is going to have to be. So that means if the NASDAQ, let's say, touches this UFO and then falls down to our limit entry, right? Let's say it goes a little bit deeper, maybe tests a little deeper, pulls back, maybe another test, and then pushes out. That means in this push up, we need to get to this point again at the 112.75, not 50, to get our T1. Right? So that's what's worrisome. And there we are. We do have a confirmed climate. So we have permission to enter this trade. The more aggressive entry would be up here at 99. But again, you would still be entering at 99. So, adding another 8 points of risk and still exiting at 69.25, right? If you're not comfortable with that much of a stop, I would say you can definitely take this with contract. That's going to make, but if you do not, if you want to take it with the mini contracts, you're more than welcome to do so. Look, yes. Now, ooh, confirm. This is so interesting. How about that, right? 401 is the moving average, which 34.1 is within this UFO here. So we could actually take this at market to take it short. Oh, there we go. Almost made the same mistake twice, guys, just because of excitement. Right? Remember, when you're switching instruments, you're also supposed to be switching down here. We have a confirmed down climate, but the entry is at 34,000 here, and we have no UFOs to support an entry there. So while we do have a confirmed climate, we do not have a place to enter. All right? So let's go to crude again to see if we've had a confirmation there. We do have a confirmation on crude. All right. And the confirmation on crude says we have a couple of UFOs we can take, right? The first one is right here at 57. Yep, so this is the trade actually, right there at, I'm sorry, at 43, not 57. So we would be selling at 43. Our stop is going to be at 59. All right, and then of course our T1, the equal distance from that. All right, look at that. We have another red UFO here. There's a very good chance that we may miss this move, but I would say that the moving average is above the concentration of the orders here. This is a little bit more advanced and nitpicky. Of course, if you're back testing and your back test says, hey, the moving average anywhere, even if it's at the last tick of this UFO, at the last portion of this UFO, I'm still taking this, then you would have taken it right now and you would have been already in profit, right? Because that's what your plan said and that's what you did. I myself don't typically like taking, and I've not back tested this 100%. But I don't like taking, I don't like it when the moving average is in the last remaining section of the UFO here, right? Because we're going short, right? When the moving average is here up to here, I'm okay with it. It's great. Um, Taking it when the moving average is right at the end of this UFO, right? This last section here, properly. This last section here, that means it's barely overlapped. Versus this whole section here, right? That's the majority, the meat of the UFO. So, but as I said, that's just me being picky. I don't think this is gonna trigger anytime soon. I'm gonna cancel it. Let's go back to the NASDAQ and see how things are looking. See how things are cooking. All right. Wow, this is, I mean, there's, now there's even more evidence to take this on this UFO up here, 13102. I mean, that's just why I don't like it is because look at the stack of UFOs down below, right? It's just you would have to take it up here 102, even, right? And your stop would still need to be 67.75. I mean, that's just a massive spread between the entry and the stop. So, Joe, the 15-minute time frame gets matched with the 2-minute time frame. So this is the 15-minute. This is the auto climate time frame, as you see right here. Auto climate is on here. So this is the 15-minute auto climate time frame. That then matches with the 2-minute. And then here, and if you have some more questions on this, please feel free to post it on tradewithufos.com/Bojan. I'll share the link in afterwards. The 15-minute ties with these other three time frames. All right, so the 15-minute ties with the other time frames here. And these do change per instrument. They're not static, which is the mistake that I made earlier when I was trading the Dow, right? You have to make sure you're trading the right time frames with the right instrument. All right, so for those of you that may have been more aggressive with this, you're already in this trade right now. And you can see that there's already a reaction at that price point, at 13,102. As you see on my screen, I am not in it. My UFO is the one down here, 1309. As you see, it's pushing lower. Actually, it's pretty much staying right at that 13,102 area. It's not really pushing lower. Coming, I'm just looking at the moving average and making sure it will match up with my entry point, and it looks like it won't, but it's very close to call it. I mean, it's still technically a valid entry because I have the UFO here. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of this for now, just so I have it, so I know what I was looking at. And just double checking that everything's looking good here, and it is. So this would still be a valid entry just because we have this UFO here. I was just really looking to get onto this UFO here, 13,091, and then go from there. But let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get. And I'm just gonna post it here, tradewithufos.com/Bojan, where you can ask the questions on anything that you see that we're doing here. And that was in, when I say here, I really just meant the speak up chat group. I'm just showing it right now on the stream as well. All right. So right now Nasdaq is kind of teasing us a little bit as far as entries and stops. Haven't gotten filled on it. It looks like it's wanting to push through. That's a nice big juicy red UFO. Let's see what's going to happen. And we're in. All right. Move the stop. We said it has to go down to, let's just move these around a little bit. Has to go down to 67.75, which I guess, as I said before, this is a fairly large stop. If you're not comfortable with it, as I said, you do not have to take the trades with the minis. You can take them with the micros. So 13,091.25 minus 13,060. And this is a lot easier because I already have a formula that gives me this stuff that I can just put in my entry point. And I already know where my T1 and T2s are. So 23.25. And we go plus 13,091.25. So 13,114.75 is where our T1 is. And then I'm not going to lie to you when I say that this is far. But the Nasdaq moves. It's not uncommon to see this type of movement. Okay, as far as UFOs, it doesn't look like we have any above. We sure? It's a little odd. We should have some. Yeah, I think we do. Auto UFOs, yeah, they're on. I don't see anything above, so we're just gonna have to trail stop it for now. So we'll push this up. Actually, we'll just cancel it. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this, and so we know that that's the NQ entry. Good amount of movement so far, right? We're up a few $100. Let's see if it can just go straight to that T1, man. I mean, it's happened a few times for me where it just goes straight to T1 and it's beautiful. Sometimes though, it just it does this, it almost gets there, and then wham, it goes down. Just because this is a little bit of extra risk, I'm tempted to move my stop to below this UFO. So in like 95.25. But as I said, that's just temptation. That's not what's in the plan. So let's see what happens. This was a very, is this a dead cat bounce? Or are we actually going to see it, kind of consolidate here and push up? See, as long as, one thing I did forget to do is, oh man, so this was probably the candle of entry. Let me draw the line here. This is where we got in. So we got 1, 2, 3 candles that we have to wait for this to play out. And if it doesn't, we're going to close it on market. A red UFO there just showed up. So that's probably going to eat up some orders and push it a little further down. But let's see if it's going to, maintain this pretty strong momentum coming right out of our entry. Come on, NASDAQ, you can do it. So we're already a few minutes into this trade. Yeah, let's see what's going to happen. Yes, this is on Ninja. Jeff. And welcome to Trading is Waiting, which is really the majority of trading, just waiting. Analyzing, sure, backtesting, yes, but also quite a bit of waiting. So I don't foresee this going to T1 anymore just because it looks like it's either consolidating here or wants to push lower again. We still have to wait for it until the time in trade rule can be activated, which the time in trade rule is the rule here. Once this candle closes at 7:02 my time, then we'll be allowed to close this at market. As you see, the trade has, did fairly good up here, pushed really high, came about 5 points away from, um, came 5 points away from our T1, and then it's pushing down. It's basically right at our entry right now. But it's in a green UFO right now, and we can already see it reacting off of that area. That means there must still be buyers around that 15 minute 90 MA that we have. You can just kind of see the power of it. There is a massive move upwards again. If it can take out this top, it's guaranteed going to T1. If it cannot, it's probably going to be a time stop. So we're just going to keep our eye on the trigger here. I think we have 1 more minute for this to play out, and then we have to close it at market. If you don't want to close it at market, you can, leave this rolling with the thinking that this is basically a re-entered trade right at this UFO here. That would be fine as well. I am going to follow the rules to the T, close this at market whenever is time. So basically about 45 seconds more. How do I know it's 45 seconds more? This is the ticker right here I'm following. I got 40 seconds on this trade, but if this top gets taken out, man, come on, T1, please. Let's go. 30 seconds. It doesn't get this exciting, to be very honest with you, but sometimes you just gotta make excitement out of T1. All right. All right, what do we got? We got a new UFO. We got our T1. Except, where's my stop? Why did my stop just disappear? Oh, that's strange. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened and why my stop just disappeared. I'll have to add a bracket order, but our stop really needs to be right here at the 13,100 is where our stop needs to be. And it's going to be a sell stop market. We'll have to do a bracket order from the orders here. So yeah, for some reason they got canceled. But that's where it was. We got that T1 at the nick of time. You see that right there. We got it at the nick of time. So we just have to add in a bracket order. You can do this. I think it's from the orders. From the orders panel on NinjaTrader. I'm doing it on my end. If it didn't cancel on your end, you got nothing else to do but kind of wait it out and trail stop and trail stop. All right, your stop is now at 1309.25. All right, this is our stop right now. Just to kind of make it visual, I'm going to put a horizontal here. Okay. And that horizontal is white for some odd reason. Okay, so that's our stop right now at 1309.21. And we may get a new chance to move this stop again. This is just moving on up. Let's see if we can get another UFO. There's the UFO. Stop is at 1075. Here's your stop. anyways, we're already kind of past the hour here, folks. Just you got to keep trail stopping this and trail stopping it, and just let it run the way I'm doing it. Thank you so much for joining me. As I mentioned, oh wow, I realized I never took out the questions for me tag. Sorry about that. We were in the zone trading it. I will catch you next time. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to go to the tradewithufos.com/Bojan to post them, and we'll go from there. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will catch you next time. Take care.